This is going to be a quick video for new users to Alpha Console on how to do avatars and banners. I've seen a lot of new people come in asking about this, so I'm going to cover it quickly. For those of you that are experienced and know how to do this, you can simply click off the video. So there are a number of ways to get to the Windows folder that we need for avatars and banners. The easiest way is to open up Rocket League, press F5 to open up Alpha Console, come to Profile, and then here you have your avatar and banners folder. Just click Open Directory. That will then open it up. You can come back into Rocket League, and now you must exit Rocket League. So here is our avatars folder, and this is where we're going to insert or put our avatar, our profile picture. One thing I will say is I've seen a lot of people using MS Paint, which causes files not to work. From what I can tell, it's some export setting that they have. I don't know what their settings are. If you use MS Paint and your avatar doesn't work, please go and do research on settings. Check different settings and what works for you. If you don't want to do that, or you can't be bothered, just download GIMP. GIMP is what I'm using in this tutorial. If you follow what I do, it will work for you. So the first thing we're going to do is, if you're new, you should only have the AC logo. So we're going to right click on AC logo, open with, and then GIMP. You can use whatever software you want as long as it works for you. I'm using GIMP, so that's what we're going to use. So now that we're inside, we obviously have our resolution, and we have our logo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a new image. Let's do SpongeBob, and I'm going to copy this image like this, and I'm going to paste it inside GIMP. If you paste it and it says floating, just simply come down here and click the new layer, and it adds SpongeBob or your layer into GIMP. So obviously, as you can see, it's a bit big. So we can do Shift T and scale it this way. If you want to see whereabouts it is, because Shift T gets rid of everything behind it. You can drop the opacity so you can see what you line up with. So we want SpongeBob in our border. I'm going to do something like this. Now we have SpongeBob. The reason we do that is because our original logo creates a border. This is what you don't want to expand outside of this border. You don't want to have different resolutions, different aspect ratios. So we use the default one as a base, and we can simply work from that. So now that we have SpongeBob put in, I'm going to export, and we're in our avatar textures folder, and I'm going to call this Bob. Going to export, and this value or this option should be ticked. It doesn't really make a difference, but it's a good habit to have this ticked. So I'm going to export. So here we have our SpongeBob, and as you can see, I have made a copy of our JSON file. The reason for that is my JSON file has lots of different decals in it, or textures in it. However, from scratch, I'm going to show you how we can do that. So if you open up your JSON file that just has Alpha Console, I have a full video on how to do JSON file setups, but I'll go over it quickly. Do not touch this first or last parenthesis. These stay where they are. Come to this middle one, hold down left click, and come all the way up until you have everything selected, everything inside these selected. Control C to copy, come back down here, comma, enter for a new line, paste. That's all you need to do. So now I'm going to call this Bob. So this is the name which will display inside Alpha Console. And here is our file name. So our file name needs to be Bob. And I'm going to save that. Once you've saved that, you can now open up Rocket League. Once you're in Rocket League, you can press F5 again, come over to Profile. What the hell? Come over to Profile, and then Avatar Pictures. It will show up. We click Bob, and there is Bob in the corner. Now, onto banners. You can do the same thing, click Open Directory, but we don't really need to. So let's close out of Rocket League. Open up our avatars folder, which we were just in. So we come back to our folder that we were just in. So we need to go back a folder. So we can click AC plugin. And now we want banners. And here we have the same thing. So you can choose a default one that comes with Alpha Console. So let's choose Steam, open with, and then your image editor. Again, I'm using GIMP. And here it is. As you notice, this has a transparent border. So let's find something else we can use. Is a very large image of SpongeBob SquarePants. I'm going to deform this. Obviously, you won't need to... you won't be looking too much into this at the moment. But I'm just going to deform this image so it fits. So the exact same as what you would do with your avatar, you want to do here. You want to make sure that the image you are using fits the border of the default texture that you just opened. So here's the border of the default texture, and then our image is obviously inside. So I'm going to export. I'll call this Bob again. We're in our banners folder this time. So export, and this is where this option comes into play. Save transparent pixels. We want that on, so we're going to export. Back into our banners folder, we can open up our JSON file. And as before, we can copy a single instance, and we can just call this Bob, and our texture Bob. I'm going to save that and open up Rocket League. So now that we're back in Rocket League, we can press F5, come over to our, oh my god, Discord, why? Come into our profile tab, and we're now down to banners. So here is Bob, and there is our texture. Obviously, as you can see, we now have transparency around it. And that is how you do avatars and banners.